Did you know that the average person encounters hundreds of strangers every day, on the subway, in coffee shops, walking down the street, yet most of us barely notice them? Here's a question for you. Have you ever had a conversation with a stranger that helped you practice your English, gain confidence, or even learn something new? Today we'll show you how talking to strangers in unique locations can not only be enlightening but also an excellent way to improve your English speaking skills. Talking to strangers might seem daunting, but it's one of the most effective ways to practice spoken English in real-life scenarios. And when these interactions happen in unique locations, like a park, a museum, or even a busy market, the experience becomes both educational and entertaining. These conversations can help you learn new vocabulary, understand different accents, and build your confidence. So why not turn everyday encounters into opportunities to improve your English? One of the biggest challenges English learners face is hesitation. Whether it's fear of making mistakes, struggling to find the right words, or worrying about what others might think, these feelings can prevent you from speaking. Social barriers and personal insecurities often hold us back. But what if I told you that by stepping out of your comfort zone and talking to strangers, you can break through these barriers and take your English to the next level? Let me share some personal experiences where I used conversations with strangers in unique locations to improve my language skills and gain valuable insights. Each encounter taught me something new about communication, culture, and the power of human connection. My first experience was practicing English with the Rooftop Philosopher. One summer evening, I met an older man on a rooftop bar in New York City. He was a retired professor who loved discussing philosophy. I was nervous about keeping up with the conversation, but I focused on asking open-ended questions like, what inspired you to study philosophy? How do you think philosophy applies to everyday life? Can you share an idea that changed the way you see the world? As he spoke, I paid attention to his choice of words and repeated phrases I didn't understand, asking for clarification. For example, when he used terms like eudaimonia and stoicism, I asked him to explain their meanings. This not only expanded my vocabulary, but also taught me how to express complex ideas in English. By the end of the conversation, I had learned new words, practiced forming thoughtful responses, and gained confidence in discussing abstract topics. His advice: every conversation is a chance to learn. Don't let fear hold you back. My second experience was a midnight English lesson at the diner. While traveling, I stopped at a 24-hour diner and started a conversation with a truck driver. He had a strong regional accent, which initially made understanding him difficult. To navigate this challenge, I asked clarifying questions like, could you repeat that, or what do you mean by that phrase? I wrote down unfamiliar words or slang he used, such as shotgun, referring to the passenger seat, and gearhead, a term for someone who loves cars. I practiced paraphrasing what he said to ensure I understood correctly. For example, when he described a route he often took, I repeated it back in simpler terms to confirm. This encounter taught me how to handle accents and pick up regional slang. More importantly, it reminded me that making mistakes is part of the learning process. The truck driver was patient and even seemed to enjoy explaining things, which boosted my confidence. My third experience was language exchange at the music festival. At a music festival, I met a backpacker who was also learning English. We decided to practice together by sharing stories about our travels. To make the most of the interaction, I asked questions like, what's the most memorable place you visited? And what's a phrase in English that you find challenging to use? I shared some of my own struggles with learning English, which created a supportive atmosphere. We played a game where we described objects around us in English, like the colourful tent over there or the vibrant crowd near the stage. By exchanging phrases and correcting each other, we improved our fluency and pronunciation. It was a reminder that learning English can be a collaborative and enjoyable experience, especially when you're in a fun and relaxed setting. My fourth experience was with the market vendors. In a bustling market, I struck up a conversation with a fruit vendor. I asked her questions like, how long have you been selling fruits here? What's your favorite fruit and why? What's the busiest day of the week for you? She answered enthusiastically, sharing stories about her family's tradition of running the stall and teaching me the names of fruits in English that I hadn't known before, like quince and loquat. To make the conversation interactive, I tried to describe the fruits in detail and asked her to correct me if I got something wrong. For instance, when I described a mango as tart, she explained the difference between ripe and unripe flavors. This interaction enriched my vocabulary and gave me confidence in using descriptive language. The most impactful moment came during a visit to a community garden. I spoke with a woman in her 70s who was planting flowers. She patiently explained the names of different plants and their uses, introducing me to new words like perennials and bulbs. I asked her questions like, what's the most challenging part of gardening? Do you have a favorite flower? Why? How did you get started with this hobby? She not only shared her knowledge, but also her life story, revealing that gardening had been a source of healing for her after losing her husband. Her kind encouragement reminded me that most people are willing to help you learn if you're open and respectful. By the end of the conversation, I felt inspired to embrace learning opportunities wherever they arise. Talking to strangers in unique locations isn't just about connecting with others. It's a powerful way to improve your spoken English. These conversations help you expand your vocabulary, adapt to different speaking styles, and gain the confidence to communicate effectively. Whether you're practicing with a philosopher on a rooftop, chatting with a truck driver in a diner, or learning new words from a market vendor, every interaction is an opportunity to grow. Now it's your turn. Have you ever used a conversation with a stranger to practice your English? Share your experience in the comments. And if you're looking for more tips and techniques to improve your English speaking skills, check out my other videos. Together, let's make learning English a fun and engaging journey, one conversation at a time.